My name is Kevin Chege from the Internet Society. I'm part of the measurement team, and I'm welcoming you to this Measuring the Internet session as part of the Internet Society's Community Week 2021. Today we'll be giving a short overview of the Internet Society Pulse platform and insights available on it. I'm very pleased to be joined by Harold Adjaho, who is the president of the ISOF Benin chapter. He'll be talking to us about how his chapter campaigned against an upcoming internet shutdown in his country. We're also joined by Dieudonné Munganga. Dieudonné is an Internet Society Early Career Fellow who will be giving an overview of his work as part of our Internet Resilience project, which we'll be discussing further. Finally, we have a recorded presentation from Maria Xynou, who is Research and Partnerships Director at Uni. She'll be explaining how you can take part in the global open source data gathering project on internet censorship. So before we get started, we have a few housekeeping rules. So I'll kindly request the slide on housekeeping be put on screen for all of us. So as that is put online, a few housekeeping rules: please engage respectfully and responsibly. Follow and use the Community Week hashtag on Twitter, hashtag Community Week 21. Interpretation into French and Spanish is available. Closed captioning is also available. This is the English channel. If you want to listen to French or Spanish, you'll need to exit the room and select your preferred language from the agenda and then rejoin. Please use the chat for sharing comments and for asking questions in English, French, or Spanish. Please format your questions with your first name and country. And also, this session is being recorded, and the recording will be made available on the platform here after the event. So now I have the pleasure of inviting my colleague, Amreesh Phokeer. He will give us a brief overview of the Pulse platform. Amreesh, over to you.
Thank you very much, Kevin, and welcome everyone. It's a pleasure for me to be here and welcome you to the Community Week at the Internet Society. And we will walk you through the Pulse platform. So let me change the slides. All right, so today we are presenting the project which we are all working on called Measuring the Internet, and how we are actually curating data from different sources to present you some interesting insights about what's happening on the internet. So this platform, which is called Pulse, was launched in December 2020. And as mentioned, we curate internet measurement data from trusted sources, usually other organizations working in the internet space and also doing internet measurements. And by collecting the data from different sources, we collate them together and then try to present them in a format which is easily readable by anyone, whether you are a technical person or a less technical person. The aim of the platform is to present the data in a very easy to read way. So we have several focus areas, starting with enabling technologies. Enabling technologies is comprised of several metrics, including IPv6. So what is the percentage of IPv6 adoption in different countries of the world? The rate of adoption of TLS 1.3, which is an important protocol, and it is important for countries and network operators to know how good is the adoption of TLS in their region, as well as HTTPS and DNSSEC. We have another focus area which is also very critical to the functioning of to understand the functioning of the internet, which is, this one is about internet shutdowns. As we know, we have several countries, unfortunately, actioning shutdowns, and this has a quite bad effect on the users of the internet with limited access when there are shutdowns. So we keep track of these shutdowns and we get data from several sources, and we try to present them and also do a cause analysis of why this shutdown happened and also how long it happened. Thirdly, we have internet resilience, which is a third focus area that was actually launched this week. And I would invite you to go on pulse.internetsociety.org, and you can navigate to the internet resilience focus area, which has just been launched yesterday, actually, in which we also collect different metrics from different sources and aggregate them together to present what we call the Internet Society Internet Resilience Index. And through that, we are actually able to measure the level of resilience in a country and present you this on the score of 0 to 100. And finally, we will have the centralization score focus area, which will be launched by end of the year, in which we track which are the core services and how are they concentrated amongst a few actors. And this is coming out by the end of the year. As mentioned, we have different partners working with us. Afrinic, who helped us enormously on the internet resilience focus area, Uni for the internet shutdowns and censorship, Mozilla, Cloudflare, Epinic, IIJ, Access Now, and so on. If you want to have more information about Pulse, please go on our Twitter handle ISOC_Pulse, or you can also sign up to our mailing list, as you can see on the link on the screen. And now allow me to introduce Mr. Harold Adjaho, who is the president of the ISOC chapter Benin, who is going to give you a presentation. Thank you. Over to you, Harold.
Thank you, Amreesh. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Harold Adjaho, and president of Benin chapter for Internet Society. So today I have an honor to tell you about a little about we have done to prevent a possible internet shutdown in my country before, during, and after the presidential election in April 2021. So, okay, so for preamps, the outline, I present the preamp to internet shutdown in my country, Benin. I click okay. Okay. And after I present the social political situation in 2021 this year, the action taken by my community to prevent internet shutdown, and I give you one conclusion. Yes. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. It should be remembered that we will not claim to have any influence that we will have. First, the authority in my country do not proceed with reaction. But the action I'm going to talk about have been implemented precisely for a need of prevention, communication, and anticipation, just like that. The objective was to avoid an internet shutdown. So, for preamps to internet shutdown in my country is the 28th April 2019. We have an internet shutdown during a legislative election. My country has a story for internet shutdown. These blackouts was a strong signal to our community, and the reason given by the authorities and internet providers alert the community just to prevent another action. Another internet shutdown is very important. The reason given has high traffic congestion during election. The reason given by internet provider. The Authority for Regulation has said about just a failure notes on the internet supply. And the third reason is just for fight against the fake news. So the consequence for this internet shutdown was a lost $1 million by my country. The NetBlock tools cost as for tools cost is we have lost $1 million, and this internet shutdown has impacted 1.6 million internet users in my country. It's very... j'ai une petite doléance, Amreesh. Je ne sais pas si tu m'entends. Serait-ce possible qu'on fasse la... Ok, faudrait qu'on fasse ça en français, parce que j'ai un peu de mal à vite ajuster les différentes choses en anglais.
I think yes. Oui, tu peux parler en français and it will be translated into English in this channel, right? Well,
okay.
Yes, I think you can.
C'est possible. D'accord. D'accord. Ça va m'éviter quelques désagréments. Ok, mes excuses, je vais essayer de continuer en français. C'est ça beaucoup plus facile de pouvoir mieux expliquer quand même les différentes actions que nous avons eu à faire pour éviter une coupure d'Internet. Alors, lorsque nous avons vécu cette situation en 2019, c'était plus une surprise pour nous au niveau de notre pays. Et on s'est dit qu'il fallait quand même, compte tenu des différentes conséquences, parce qu'on a noté quand même une perte d'1,1 million de dollars selon l'outil cost de NetBlocks, et également plus d'1 million, 1 million, voire 2 millions d'utilisateurs de notre pays qui ont été impactés par cette coupure. Et on s'est dit que compte tenu des événements qui survenaient, des nouvelles élections qui étaient en cours, on allait prendre des mesures au sein de notre communauté justement pour éviter que cela arrive à nouveau. Et ce que nous avons fait, c'est que nous nous sommes mis en groupe au sein de différentes organisations de la communauté pour éviter que cela arrive de nouveau avant. Donc, nous avons mis en place une stratégie en nous basant sur les différentes raisons qui ont été évoquées par les fournisseurs d'accès à Internet, les autorités de régulation, pour déterminer un certain nombre, une stratégie en fait, qui permettait d'éliminer ces raisons qui pourraient bien sûr justifier une coupure d'Internet. Alors, qu'avons-nous fait? Si mon slide évolue. D'accord. OK, alors qu'avons-nous fait? Déjà, en premier lieu, nous avons documenté les différentes conséquences qu'il pourrait avoir une coupure d'Internet sur notre pays. Donc, si cela arrive encore que nous ayons une coupure d'Internet, quelles sont les conséquences que cela peut avoir déjà sur le trafic Internet lui-même, donc au niveau technique? Quelles sont les différentes conséquences au niveau des enjeux politiques, socio-économiques également? Et il fallait présenter tout ça dans un document, ce que nous avons fait après plusieurs semaines, plusieurs jours de recherche et de documentation. Et cet article, tout ça a été compilé dans un article que nous avons publié sur le site d'ISOC Bénin. Donc, vous pouvez retrouver l'article sur ISOC Bénin, également sur le site d'Internet Society Monde, donc internetsociety.org, et sur le site de Pulse. Ensuite, nous avons nous avons rejoint la coalition Keep It One, où nous avons écrit une lettre ouverte à l'endroit de nos autorités, où nous avons signé avec plusieurs autres organisations, bien sûr, pour justement encore prévenir, informer, sensibiliser, interpeller sur une éventuelle coupure d'Internet et leur demander de ne pas arriver à ses fins. Donc, ça a été une série d'actions comme ça que nous avons mis en place. Ensuite, nous avons, grâce à la plateforme Anti-Fake News que une organisation de l'écosystème a lancée, qui est antifakenews.bj, nous avons formé et aidé à la communication, justement, de blogueurs, d'activistes, de journalistes sur le fact-checking. Donc, l'objectif derrière, c'était potentiellement réduire la raison qui serait qu'une coupure d'Internet pourrait arriver à cause d'une lutte contre la propagation des fausses nouvelles, donc des fake news. Donc, nous avons outillé ces différents blogueurs sur des techniques de fact-checking et nous avons énormément communiqué au sein de nos canaux digitaux sur cette plateforme et demandé aux utilisateurs, aux citoyens d'aller se renseigner, d'aller s'informer grâce à cette plateforme pour être sûr de ne pas être face à des nouvelles, à des fake news et des nouvelles qui pourraient inciter à la haine, etc. Puis on était dans une situation politique quand même assez critique. Puis, nous avons mené une campagne. Alors, cette campagne, elle a été stratégiquement menée puisque d'abord, en premier lieu, nous l'avons fait pendant 10 jours et nous avons commencé cela 11 jours avant les élections, avant le scrutin lui-même. Donc, 10 jours de campagne sur les médias sociaux avec un hashtag qui est devenu très vite viral d'ailleurs, qui était No Shutdowns, donc ne coupez pas Internet. Et on a utilisé également le hashtag Internet Shutdown de Keep It One pour justement encore sensibiliser, interroger, interpeller, prévenir, attirer l'attention de la communauté, que ce soit à l'international, que ce soit en local, sur de probables risques de coupure d'Internet. Parce qu'il faut bien le reconnaître, dans la situation où on était, il y avait des sources, des troubles sociopolitiques. Il y avait des troubles de ce genre, il y avait des manifestations qui avaient vite dégénéré, il y avait des problèmes dans le nord du pays. Donc, il y avait assez de raisons puisqu'on a déjà vu l'exemple au Sénégal, on avait vu l'exemple en Éthiopie, on a vu plein d'exemples juste avant les élections. Donc, on s'est dit, il y a assez de choses qui pourraient quand même amener cela. Donc, il faut prévenir, il faut informer et il faut sensibiliser. Donc, cette campagne a duré 10 jours. Ensuite, ce que nous avons fait également, nous avons fait une conférence de presse qui a été retransmise directement en live sur Facebook et Twitter et sur d'autres réseaux sociaux, où on avait des invités pour aborder non seulement le côté technique, et si on avait une coupure d'Internet, donc informer sur l'aspect technique de la coupure, mais également sur l'aspect juridique, donc quels sont les droits du peuple pour prétendre avoir un Internet fort, un Internet disponible durant les élections, donc avant, pendant et après les élections. Et ça a été quand même ça a eu un très bon impact puisqu'on a eu plusieurs médias internationaux qui nous ont rejoints. Il y a eu plein d'interviews, notamment avec RFI, avec d'autres médias, pour quand même essayer de comprendre quel est le but de notre action, pourquoi est-ce qu'on était en train de faire tout ça. Et après ça, au niveau de notre Internet et de notre organisation, au niveau des chapitres Bénin de Internet Society, nous avons mis en place un petit groupe de personnes qui faisaient des mesures. Donc, on a utilisé la plateforme Pulse pour voir si peut-être on n'a pas répertorié en temps une coupure au niveau du Bénin. Ensuite, pour pouvoir quand même analyser le trafic, voir ce qui se passe, on a utilisé des sonneries par classe. On a également utilisé la plateforme Yoda pour voir s'il n'y a pas peut-être des perturbations qui ont été remarquées. Et ces séries d'actions nous ont quand même permis d'avoir à nous dire à la fin des élections, même après qu'on n'a pas eu de coupure d'Internet, que même si peut-être nous n'avons pas pu influencer directement le fait qu'on n'a pas eu de coupure d'Internet, que ça a quand même permis de conscientiser un certain nombre de personnes sur la chose et aussi de relever les différentes conséquences que cela aurait pu avoir sur l'ensemble de la confiance que les citoyens ont en Internet dans notre pays, que ce soit les enjeux politiques, socio-économiques, etc. Donc, pour conclure, ce que je voudrais dire, c'est justement qu'il faut prendre la mesure de la chose. Qu'est-ce qui se passe lorsqu'on coupe Internet dans un pays? Ben, on a plusieurs problèmes. On a plusieurs problèmes qui arrivent. On peut le remarquer encore jusqu'à aujourd'hui avec tout ce qui s'est passé chez moi, avec ce qui s'est passé dans d'autres pays, puisqu'il nous arrive aussi de surveiller un peu l'actualité au niveau de notre continent. Et on s'est dit qu'il fallait éviter cela dorénavant. Donc, ne plus couper Internet et prendre des mesures, donc que d'autres organisations aussi prennent des mesures pour prévenir et éviter que cela arrive. Voilà, tout dépend aussi du contexte dans lequel on se trouve, tout dépend aussi de l'environnement dans lequel on se trouve. Voilà un peu, merci beaucoup. Je ne sais pas si la tradition a pu prendre le relais pour les autres. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Harold. Unfortunately, there was no simultaneous interpretation, but I think the staff will work on a recorded version with the English subtitles later on. And I saw my colleague Joyce also try to put some notes in English, but it's all right, Harold. I would like to thank you very much for your very interesting presentation. I think it's an important set of steps that you have taken to mitigate the potential of having internet shutdown in your country, and maybe other ISOC chapters can actually benefit from that experience and that series of actions that you have taken. Very important and very interesting. Thank you. I'll pass it over again back to Kevin for the rest of the session.
Thank you, Amreesh, and thank you, Harold, for that very interesting presentation. Our next presentation is from Dieudonné Munganga, who's an early ISOC Early Career Fellow. Dieudonné has been involved in a project that ISOC is working with in collaboration with Afrinic called MIRA, which stands for Measuring Internet Resilience in Africa. So Dieudonné, over to you, and let us know about the MIRA project.
Thank you, Kevin, for the introduction. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Dieudonné, and today I'll be talking about internet measurements in general, and also a bit about the work being done in Africa in terms of the resilience of the internet. And then I'll finalize with sharing my involvement in the project as an ISOC Early Career Fellow. As we all know, the internet plays a critical role in society today. Situations such as the current pandemic has further underlined the importance of reliable internet connectivity for everyone. And in Africa, mobile broadband network deployments are growing, whereby 80% of traffic is accessed via mobile devices, but with internet penetration rates that still need improvement. But as more broadband networks get deployed, business operators, policymakers, and end users still need and have the right to access accurate information about the health and infrastructure within their networks and their individual for the individual reasons. This information is only retrievable through internet measurement in the aim of understanding the true behavior of networks, so that they can be improved in terms of performance. So as the scientist Lord Kelvin back in 1883 said, I quote, "When you can measure what you're speaking about and express it in numbers, you know something about it. But when you cannot measure it and when you cannot express it in numbers, your knowledge is of major and unsatisfactory kind," across the board. And then that leads us to the MIRA project. So as introduced by Amreesh and Kevin, MIRA is in full measuring internet resilience in Africa, which is a joint initiative between the African Network Information Center, AFRINIC, and the Internet Society, with the goal of evaluating the capability of a country to provide a stable and reliable means for the internet connectivity at all times. And essentially, this has been motivated by the fact that in Africa, specifically in low-income countries, we really have under-provisioned networks and lack proper cable infrastructure or redundant interconnection systems. In addition to that, any low-income countries that do not have the capability to thoroughly audit the internet infrastructure, and in many cases they have not developed or adopted best practices for building resilient internet infrastructure. So that's why, based on the results of this project, the experts involved in it will provide recommendations in the form of best practices that could help networks or countries achieve higher internet resilience. So in the previous slide, I mentioned about the term internet resilience. So what does that mean? From the MIRA team's perspective, we can talk about the resilience of the internet in a network or in a country by looking at 5 key elements. The first is the availability and stability of the physical infrastructure, which includes power stations, undersea or terrestrial fiber, the landing stations, and last mile access networks. The second element is the quality of service of the network from the end user's perspective, and the stability of the network in terms of reachability, throughput, and latency to selected target servers. Another element is the availability and performance of the DNS, the domain name systems. As some refer to it as the phone book of the internet. So how available this is and how it performs also affects, tells something about the resilience of the internet in a region. As the first element is the availability and the efficiency of the local peering fabric, as well as the ability of a country to keep traffic local. And last but not least, the resilience of the ISP market. That means the level of concentration towards specific networks, sometimes referred to as autonomous systems, and most importantly, the how affordable, the affordability of this market. Again, I emphasize more on people to access the ISOC Pulse platform, which has released the results of the work that has been done so far, and it's quite insightful. People should really check it out. So, as an Internet Society early career fellow, what's really motivated me to get involved in this particular project? I'd say I got involved in the MIRA project prior to recall for application of the Early Career Fellowship Program. However, before applying to the program, I consulted the experts that are here with me, Amreesh and Kevin, who I collaborate with, just to show my interest and to get to hear about the opinion on the fellowship. So they basically encouraged me to go for it, and I applied. I'm glad that turned into a success. Also, earlier before that, I had become a member of the ISOC chapter from the Democratic Republic of Congo. So that I could potentially contribute to ISOC's mission. back to what was my motivation to contribute to Mira in particular, I would say that the goal of the project basically goes in line with my personal research interests. Just for information, I'm currently pursuing my master's degree in computer science at the University of Cape Town, where I focus on network performance measurement in developing African regions. And that said, also the need to be engaged into an industry-led project as an academic really also was part of what motivated me to contribute to get involved into this project. And just on the tasks that have been assigned to in the project, so I did a lot of data visualization, so coming up with dashboards, interactive dashboards, some data cleaning and all that. And then afterwards, we jumped into automating some of the manual processes that were involved in the project. That's pretty much all for me today. Thank you for listening to me. Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you very much, Dieudonné, for that presentation on Mira. We'd like to now move on to the next part of the agenda, which is the final presentation. Final presentation will be from Uni. It will be made by Maria Xynou, who's the Research and Partnership Director at Uni. Her presentation is recorded, and she'll give an overview of Uni's work and how you can become part of one of the largest decentralized citizen-led internet censorship observatories in the world. So can play the video now.
Thank you, Susanna, and thank you, Dieudonné and Harold, for your excellent talks before. And before, Dieudonné talked about the importance of internet measurement. And as part of this very brief presentation, I'm going to discuss how you can actively measure internet censorship. And why internet censorship? Well, I think literally every country in the world has some form of internet censorship. Usually what differs is, what is blocked and how censorship differs from country to country. Practically speaking, in many countries around the world, you may see that major social media platforms such as WhatsApp or Facebook are blocked, often during political events, such as during elections and protests. But also you may see that a number of other platforms, such as the websites of LGBTIQ communities or ethnic and religious minorities, may be blocked as well. So this leaves us with a question of, given that censorship can vary and does vary from country to country and often from network to network, and given that censorship can and does change over time, often in correlation with political events, how can we, the people, have a clear overview and insight into what is blocked, where, when, why, and how? In an attempt to answer this question, 9 years ago, back in 2012, we created the Open Observatory of Network Interference, which is commonly known as Uni. The basic idea behind Uni is that we want to enable everyone to have the ability to independently measure the network that they're connected to and investigate and check whether various forms of internet censorship are on their network. But having us all individually check our networks for censorship is not enough, because that doesn't inform us about, ultimately there's a question of how do we know what is blocked where? And that is why we have created a system by which not only can you run specific tests in order to investigate internet censorship, but also that we collect these test results from all around the world and publish them in real time as open data. And in doing so, our goal is to increase transparency of internet censorship and enable everyone to learn in real time what is blocked around the world. And thanks to our global community from all around the world, we have had the opportunity to collect millions of network measurements from more than 200 countries and territories. And they span all the way from 2012 to today and include a lot of evidence on various forms of internet censorship. So practically, how can you get involved? You can install our app. It's called Uniprobe. Uniprobe is available for both mobile and desktop platforms. On mobile platforms, you can install it on Android, F-Droid, and iOS. On desktop platforms, you can install it on Windows, Linux, and Mac. And as you can see here from the slide, Uniprobe has a variety of different tests, and you can run the test by tapping on the Run button. Specifically, Uniprobe includes tests that fall under the categories that you see here in the slide. You can run tests to check whether and how specific websites are blocked. You can run tests to check whether instant messaging apps are blocked. Specifically, it includes tests for WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, Telegram, and Signal. And we also include tests for checking the accessibility of VPNs, specifically Siphon and RiseUp VPN, and you can also check to see if Tor is blocked. But in addition to these tests, which check for the blocking of websites and apps, you can also run speed and performance tests to check your network speed and also to check video streaming performance. One thing that I would really like to highlight is the importance of automated testing. And basically what this means is that instead of having to remember to manually run tests through the Uniprobe app, you can go to the settings of the Uniprobe app and enable automated testing. This means that Uniprobe will automatically run the tests for you. Depending on the platform, this could be multiple times a day, but in any case, it will ensure daily testing. And daily testing is very important because it enables the global community to have data, which is basically checking networks on an ongoing basis. And so if and when suddenly some services get blocked, hopefully we will be able to detect them through the data contributed from automated testing. Before you install Uniprobe, one important thing to highlight is that running Uniprobe might be potentially risky for some users in high-risk environments. We have extensive documentation which explains what are some of the potential risks on our website. But I think the main things to know are that, first of all, Uniprobe is not a privacy tool in the sense that if someone is actively monitoring your internet activity, such as your government or your ISP, they will know that you are running Uniprobe in the sense that the fact that you're running the software is not in itself hidden. And that is also true for all other software that you're running on your devices. Another thing to keep in mind is that the default testing includes a very broad range of different types of websites, some of which might be quite provocative to test in some countries. So again, we recommend reviewing which websites you will be testing or testing only the websites of your choice, and we'll get into this in a second. And the third thing to know is that by default, your Uniprobe test results will be openly published. And the reason why we do this is so that, again, we can increase transparency of internet censorship and so that researchers and advocates around the world can access this type of data in order to investigate and fight internet censorship. So in order to minimize potential risk, there are various choices you can make. For sure, we recommend speaking to lawyers and experts in your country to receive relevant consultation. But from a practical perspective, you can, for example, limit your testing to the specific tests that you feel comfortable with instead of running all tests. For example, it might be, in some contexts, somewhat safer to run a speed test in comparison to a test which tests a bunch of banned websites. What you can also do is that through the privacy settings of the app, you can disable the automatic publication of your test results. The reason why it's enabled by default is because, as mentioned, this will help the global community. But if you don't feel comfortable in doing so, you can disable this. Another thing that you can do is that you can contribute to the test lists, which are the lists of websites that are tested by Uniprobe. The test lists specifically are hosted by the Citizen Lab, which is a research institute at the University of Toronto, and they publicly host these lists on GitHub, where you can review them. These lists include the websites that are tested by Uniprobe, and there are two types of test lists. On the one hand, there is a global list, which includes internationally relevant websites, such as Facebook.com and Twitter.com, and these websites are tested by all Uniprobe users globally. But it also includes country-specific test lists, which only include websites that are relevant to a specific country. We encourage you to review these lists and to contribute to them, especially since the quality of the data really depends on what is being tested. And we believe that local communities are best positioned to determine what should be tested in their countries. And if you're interested in contributing, please refer to the guide on our website, which is also linked over here. If you would like to refrain from testing the canonical websites in the test list, and if you would like to instead just test the websites that you care about, there are various ways that you can do that. One way of doing that is that through the websites card in the Uniprobe app, if you tap on that card, you will see a Choose Websites button. By tapping on the Choose Websites button, you will see a screen like the one on the left, where you can manually type the website or websites, plural, that you want to test, and just tap Run to test them on the spot. If you are, on the other hand, interested in testing the websites that are in the Citizen Lab test list, but would only want to test the categories of websites that you feel comfortable with, you can enable and disable the categories of websites of your choice through the relevant settings of the app as illustrated in the right screen. So for example, if you only care to test news media websites, you can disable all the other categories and just leave news media enabled. And if you would like to test your own custom list of websites, which is something that researchers we have seen frequently like to do, in this case, you can copy-paste your own list of websites into the UniRun platform, as is illustrated here, that you can access at run.uni.io. All you do is copy-paste your list of websites, click the Generate button, and this will generate a mobile deep link that you can then use with your Uniprobe mobile app to test directly your list of websites. But more importantly, UniRun has been a powerful tool for coordinating censorship testing in a decentralized way around the world. Over the years, our community members frequently use UniRun in order to generate links based on the testing of specific websites that they care about, and they share these links with their communities in various countries around the world in order to do targeted testing, particularly in response to emergent censorship events during protests and elections. All of these test results are, as mentioned, openly published in real time. And one of the places where they're published is Uni Explorer. Uni Explorer is a web platform that we have built in order to enable the public at large, and specifically human rights defenders and researchers, to more easily navigate through the data, explore the data, and find charts and other things that can be of use. Specifically, what I think is probably currently one of the most powerful features of Uni Explorer is the search tool, where through the search tool you can filter the measurements based on the country and the networks that you care about, and you can also filter the results based on confirmed blocked. In this example here, you can see some of the most recently confirmed blocked websites in Iran, which you can very easily access by just filtering based on Iran and confirmed. And then if you click on each of these rows, you will access the raw measurement data pertaining to each tested website. And the reason why we say confirmed blocked in this case is because the raw measurement data shows that a block page has been served, and therefore that network measurement data can potentially be used as evidence of internet censorship. If you're interested in performing your own analysis, and we definitely encourage you to do so, you can get Uni data from the Uni API, where you can download it in the JSON format. However, please use the Uni API primarily for lightweight queries, because Uni Explorer relies on the API. And so basically, if you do database-heavy queries, there's the risk that Explorer will go down for everyone else. So instead, if you're interested in batch analysis, in that case, we recommend fetching Uni data from the Amazon S3 buckets. And we have a blog post where we explain how you can practically fetch the data. And based on all this data that has been contributed by community members around the world, we regularly publish research reports in collaboration with our partners around the world, where we document various censorship events. We're a small team of 6 people, so we obviously don't have the capacity to report on every single censorship event that is detected through the data. And that is why we encourage you to look at the data, explore it, analyze it, and hopefully produce your own research reports based on the data. And of course, you can also make use of the data to support advocacy efforts in other interesting ways. So that being said, we do hope that you feel inspired to run UniProbe, contribute measurements, and get involved. These are our contact details. If you'd like to stay in touch with the Uni team, if you have any questions, and if you'd like to interact with the Uni community, please do join us on the Uni Slack channel. And we'll be following up now to share a link through which you can install UniProbe. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you, Maria, for that presentation. One of the many data sources that are used on the Pulse platform include data from Uni. As mentioned at the opening presentation, the ISOC Pulse platform comes or uses data from multiple data partners. We have a short video on Pulse just to show the audience how to move around the Pulse platform and the various data sources you can access. So if you could have that brief video. Yeah. Is it ready? The Pulse video, the video on Pulse. You could play that if it's ready. Just a few seconds as we cue the video to play. Okay, it looks like the video is not ready. What we'll do, we'll provide a link to the video, perhaps to be played at a later stage. So we've come to the close of this session. We hope you found this session interesting. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Amazon and Flex Optics, who provided interpretation and captioning for you today. Apologies, we could not play the Pulse video, but we will provide that in some way to you to view yesterday, and it was recorded in yesterday's session as well. We hope you found this session helpful. Thank you to all our presenters today, Amreesh, Harold, and Dieudonné. And I'd like to wish you all a great rest of the day, and please enjoy the ISOC Community Week. Thank you, everyone.